What is up, guys? Welcome back in. Jake Ellenbogen here for JE Live in the Rams Jaguars preview and prediction video. Welcome in. I know there are a lot of people that have been asking, when the hell are you going to come out with some Rams content? Well, here's some Rams content, okay? It's here. We're doing the betting show, Bogan's Bets, on this channel every single day. So if you're into sports betting of any kind or DFS or anything like that, I cover all the games. I give you my picks of each game. It's every single day. So be sure to tune into that. But we're doing that later on. We got Rams football now. And with that said, we have our sponsor, MyBookie. You can go over to MyBookie and double your first deposit up to $1,000 on MyBookie with promo code JKDTR. But I have some news to drop. We also are now sponsored, the channel and Downtown Rams, sponsored by Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. I'm huge on Prize Picks. I highly recommend Prize Picks. I love their app. It's basic. You know, you pick five. You can pick up to 5 different outcomes, different props, so to speak, and in a pick'em format, and you can win up to 10 times your money. If you miss one, you still win 2 times your money, and if you miss 2, even winning 3 out of 5, you can still win back some of your money. So I love Prize Picks. You can go over there today, use promo code DTRAMS. It'll double your first deposit up to $100. That's promo code DTRAMS. So let's get into it. We have a lot to discuss. The Rams, obviously, being a team that they're averaging 27.2 points per game on the season. Over the last 3 games, however, they're down to 18 points per game. Luckily for them, if anything is going to kickstart it, it's going to be going against the Jaguars. They haven't found the win column in the last 3 games. They've lost all 3. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Sean McVay has never lost 4 straight. And the Rams find themselves going up against maybe the best team that they could play right now at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who really can't buy points. I mean, at this point, they put up 13.7 points per game over the last 3, and on the season, they're averaging 15.7. This should be an easy win. I think it will. OBJ is questionable, but Sean McVay did just come out and say it's unlikely that he's going to miss this game. The Rams simply have to find their identity. They have to take advantage of this game. If you remember, it all goes back to not long ago when you had essentially the game against the Texans. The Rams have not won since they played a team in that AFC division. You know, you had the Texans, you beat the Colts, you lost to the Titans. They have not won since they beat the Texans. And a big proponent, I think, and the thing that isn't brought up enough, is the fact in that game, the Rams got off to a 38-point lead. They were up 38-0 going into the third quarter. They gave up 22 unanswered. And if you remember what I was saying, guys, I took that game and I said they did not finish well. They did not finish well enough. Well, since that, kind of left some bad vibes, because since that they have been winless. They had the no-win November everyone's making fun of. Now it's December. It's a new month. You're going against a poor team. And, the fact of the matter is this is your opportunity back at home with your fans to make things happen, to generate some offense, a certain style of offense. So, I think it's very important, at least in my opinion, for them to go out and do that, and go out and establish the run and go out and just do the bare minimum and the basics. Go back to the basics of your offense and run that way, because simply put, the Rams haven't run the football much at all. They're about a 61% of the time passing team. And right now, Sean McVay is extremely predictable on offense. I believe Hendo's going to play jazz flute, but it's not guaranteed on that front. We will have to see. But that's what it comes down to, at least in my opinion, is that, you're looking at it. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. I think really, they're going to have to be able to establish the run, and I think That's a big thing there. They're going to have to be able to establish the run. They're going to have to use this game as a way to get back into the good graces of their offense and figure out what the hell is up, because right now they're running more so a pass-heavy offense. Sean McVay, over the course of his young coaching career, has lived and died by using the play-action passing attack and using a modified style West Coast offense. So I want to see them get back to the basics there. And honestly, guys, this isn't going to be a step-by-step video like we normally do with preview. I'm going to talk more about the Rams than I do about the Jaguars in this. So for, Jaguars fans, this probably isn't going to be your video, and I apologize for that. But the Rams, simply put, haven't gotten the job done. I'm doing my job over here, doing these videos. You're going to work. You're doing your job. The Rams haven't done their job. They've lost their 3 straight after starting 7-1. They're now 7-4. They are likely kissing away the first seed goodbye. Who knows? But in all likelihood, that's gone. So now they have to take care of business the rest of the way and make sure they can hold on to that 5 seed. And the first thing of doing that is going to LA, beating Jacksonville, and winning in a convincing fashion. You want to win in all 3 phases. We're talking about the offense first. There's plenty to talk about on the defense. We're talking offense first. So I think P-Train, you're talking about Johnny Munt being lost. I definitely think it was way more important than people gave it credit for. And the reason for that is very simple. You can't run, or at least, they don't feel confident enough to do it. They have not been able to run that 12 personnel. And normally, when you look at, say, 2018, when Jared Goff started to struggle down the stretch, and that team was not the same. They had gut check time. They lost 2 straight. They lost to the Bears. They lost the Eagles. What did they do? They went out and signed C.J. Anderson, and they played 12 personnel. They had that 12 personnel grouping. They wanted to run the ball, and it worked. Well, now they don't really have that to go back on. Normally, that's kind of like an area that they could go and be like, okay, we'll go to 12 personnel here. We'll adjust all of that. They haven't been able to do that because they don't feel confident enough in keeping Kendall Blanton or a Bryson Hopkins on the field. They don't have a veteran presence outside of Tyler Higbee, and so that's why they haven't run the 12 personnel. So you're absolutely right, P-Train. I totally agree with you there. Johnny Munt has been extreme. That was definitely a loss that I think even I kind of, underrated, I would say. But, I just would say this with the offense. I do think they're going to get back on track. I think, once again, another week of Odell. He may not be out there for practice, but he's learning the playbook. The more and more he learns it, the better he's going to be in this offense. I mean, he looked pretty darn good last week and barely knows the offense yet, so that's something there. They're likely going to get Ben Skoranek back. Hendo is going to play, I believe. But, there's some injuries, and we'll get into the injury report now. On the Rams side, we have, Ben Skoranek, like I said, he was a full participant in practice on Thursday with a back injury. Darrell Henderson, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't practice all week, but he still goes. He did not practice on Thursday due to a thigh. David Long did not practice due to illness. Buddy Howell, a thigh, kept him limited. And Odell did not practice on Thursday, but Sean McVay doesn't expect him to miss the game. Looking at the Jaguars, you have their punter, for whatever reasons, on the injury report with a knee. He was full. You had James Robinson, running back, limited heel and knee injury. Tyson Campbell, their second-round pick out of Georgia, cornerback, he's limited with a shoulder. Dakota Allen, former Ram, limited with a shoulder. Shaquille Griffin did not practice due to a concussion on Thursday. That is a big loss if they don't have Shaquille Griffin. Now, I'm not trying to say here that these teams, this is going to be a close game, because to be honest with you, I don't care about how bad the Rams played the last 3. Sean McVay's never lost 4 straight. Sean McVay always has these weird skids where, it's gut check time. The Rams lose, 2 or 3 in a row that really make him look deep down, and it helps them in the end. This, to me, is not a loss. And, I'm not going to sit here and say the Jags have a chance, but if they don't have Shaq Griffin, And they don't have Miles Jack, who's also, he didn't practice because of a knee. And they don't have Davin Hamilton at defensive tackle, who did not practice as well because of a knee. That's going to be bad. They don't have Malcolm Brown either, potentially, due to a toe. He didn't practice. Damian Wilson, the linebacker, was limited. So, I mean, right now the Jaguars are banged up. The Rams are banged up, of course, but the Jaguars are very banged up, and the Jaguars aren't very talented when they're fully healthy compared to the Rams' talent. So that's definitely something to keep in mind there. So that's the injury report there. Once again, I think Odell plays. Once again, I think Hendo plays. Ben Skoranek is going to play. His role, that's to be determined, but that's what I see there. And just kind of going over it, guys, we talked about the team stats earlier, the scoring. But the scoring defense, the Rams, they actually fell all the way down to 21st. They're giving up 31.7 points per game over the last 3 games. That's not conducive to winning football. They've given up 23.9 on the season. Jacksonville gives up about 25.7 on the year. And they've actually cut their average over the last 3 games down to 24.7. So, I think their defense has played... Excuse me, my voice. I think their defense has played better, Jacksonville's, but we just talked about it. I mean, they might not have Griffin. They might not have Mac Jones. They might not have Miles Jack. I don't even know why I said Mac Jones. Miles Jack. They might not have Davin Hamilton. Tyson Campbell might not play. I mean, those are significant losses for that defense. So to me, I think this is a blowout win upcoming for the Rams. Looking at, the team stats of it right now, by the way, the Rams have a projected W's of 10.3, which is just ahead of San Francisco for 8th in the league. The projected win total of 10.3 wins on the season. But here's an interesting thing here. Red zone scoring percentage, touchdowns only. The Rams are 15th in the league at 59.57. Over the last 3 games, they've had a 33.3 red zone scoring average. You look at Jacksonville's 56% in the red zone, and over the last 3, they've had a 50% rating. But Jacksonville doesn't get in the red zone anywhere near as often as the Rams do, and I think that's a big thing here. The Rams get in the red zone 4.3 per game. 4.3 attempts per game the Rams have in the red zone, which is tied for second in the league with the Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. Over the last 3 games, they're averaging 3 attempts in the red zone. Jacksonville gets in on average 2.3 times per game. The Rams right now, they're +3. Or not +3. They're minus 13. Favorites. I think this could go up to 16 by the end, and by the time this game starts on Sunday at 4. I'm going to go with the Rams here, and I have them winning 39-13. I think it's going to be an absolute blowout, a drubbing, and I think they get right back on track. 39-13. The Rams, I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered. They're going to come out. They're going to be firing down the field. They'll run the football, hopefully. But then looking at their defense, I got to say this. I know some people, thought that, and I don't know what's going on with my voice today, guys. I apologize. I know some people thought I was being way too easy on the Rams defense. But I think in the moment, they gave up a lot of points to the Packers. But at the same time, I think the offense and special teams left them in, poor position. And I think there were times where, the defense getting 3 straight stops and coming away with 0 points on the offensive side really hurt them. So to me, I think the defense definitely has to improve. But if they do what they did against the Packers and, they get those 3 straight stops and the offense once again generates 0 on 3 straight possessions, then it's a bigger issue. But right now, it just seems like they have a dark cloud over them. It'll go away, and this is the game to do it. So again, final score I have is 39-13. As far as, different things, that we could get into, I feel like Stafford's going to have himself a really good game. There's a lot of, naysayers out there that are saying that he struggled. I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns against the Packers in a game where he didn't look his best. So I think this is definitely a game where he could blow up, especially if they don't have Shaq Griffin or Tyson Campbell in the secondary. So that's definitely something to consider. There's been a lot of flack against Henderson. He's not doing enough, what have you. A lot of people just don't believe in him over Sony Michel for whatever reason. Look, Darrell Henderson's averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Darrell Henderson is almost around I think it's 830 yards from scrimmage on the season. He's improved in seemingly every single avenue of his game. He's become a better pass protector, which he's already one of the best pass protecting running backs in football. And he's been, he's added a little bit of, his arsenal, as a receiver out of the backfield. So I really like Henderson. I know he's getting a lot of flack, but he is not to blame for everything. He doesn't break as many tackles as Sony Michel. I've seen that a lot, but 3 to 6. First off, Sony Michel, it's not like he's breaking 15 tackles on the season. He's broken 6. That's not a ton. Henderson's broken 3, but then, the argument will be Sony Michel's yards after contact are higher. Well, what I would say about this is that the ironic thing about it is that for people that knock Henderson and his vision, they're not giving him credit for his vision, because there's a reason why his yards after contact aren't as much as Sony Michel, and there's a reason why his yards before contact are a lot higher than Sony Michel. Point blank, Sony Michel doesn't see the holes Henderson does. He doesn't hit them as quickly as Henderson does. So Sony Michel is more likely to absorb contact before Henderson does, because Henderson's faster, he's quicker, and he's got better vision. That is what's going on here. And to be honest with you, before the bye, Henderson was top 10 in rushing. I understand it's not a great rushing season, but I don't know what more you could ask for out of your guy that was quite obviously going to be the backup and split time, as the secondary option to Cam Akers. I don't think people are giving him enough credit. It's not really fair on his part. I understand he doesn't break a lot of tackles, okay? I get that. But Sony Michel's broken 6. And Darrell Henderson, when you had Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers, who, basically took over as a starter, Darrell Henderson broke more tackles last year than any Rams running back on the roster. So keep that in mind. So I think he'll have a solid game. I think Stafford, gets back to the drawing board. I think Cooper Kupp, the Rams had not lost in a game where Cooper Kupp has caught a touchdown. I think they go back to that. Kupp has 2 in this game. I think OBJ gets over 100 yards. And, I think with the defense, I think they hold Jacksonville to 13. I think it's a statement. Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess it's against Jacksonville. You can knock it, but, they need to get on the right, the right path. And I think this is a game that they're going to be able to do it. The question is, are they going to play a perfect, 3 out of 3, playing well on offense, defense, and special teams? That I can't guarantee. I just don't trust the special teams unit. That's actually the biggest concern of mine going into the playoffs. They'll get everything figured out, but the special teams unit, it is what it is. And that's the problem, is that they can get a little bit better, but I'm not super confident that they're going to right the ship entirely. So, with that said, I look at this game and I think, okay, the Rams probably get things going on the offensive side. I have them scoring 39 points. Defensive side, they get things going. They get to Trevor Lawrence. They, force some pressure on him. They get him to throw some errant throws. And, I think this could be a big game to get guys like Von Miller on the path. You had OBJ, getting some momentum, getting the touchdown, getting 80-plus yards last week on 5 catches. But Von Miller needs that play that finally just is puts him in, in his, I don't even know, just gets him right on track. And I feel like he'll be able to get that against a rookie quarterback that just has really had a hard time this season in Trevor Lawrence. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. They just haven't been very impressive. He's got weapons. I understand DJ Chark. They missed him for the year, and they just lost what's his face, the hybrid corner wide receiver Jamal Agnew. But I mean, Laviska Shenault was supposed to be a lot better than how he's looked, and I don't really entirely blame him. He's gotten open. Lawrence doesn't really throw to him. He throws to Marvin Jones. He throws to, the newly traded for earlier in the year, Dan Arnold. He's got James Robinson. There's a lot of weapons there, and Lawrence isn't doing enough, I think, with what he has. So, with that said, I think the Rams are going to be able to pressure Lawrence. I think this could be, we've seen Aaron Donald rip up a game. We've seen Aaron Donald get his 4-sack game. Don't be surprised if this is his 4-sack game. Don't be surprised if the Rams get about 8 sacks in this game, because Lawrence will run, but Lawrence is still not, he doesn't have the pocket awareness that you would like out of a rookie. I've watched him a lot this year. He has not impressed me, and I think the Rams can really put a pounding on him in this game. So, again, 39-13 is where I have this game for the predictions and the preview. But I'd like to answer some of your questions, so please drop them below. I'll probably take, up until, I'd say, we got about 5-6 minutes left. So, drop your questions below. I want to keep this, a little bit smaller video so everyone can digest it at their own pace. But appreciate you guys joining, live here. More push from the O-line, the run game. I think the O-line has a good game this one, for sure. What's up, King Ben? Yeah. Well, I'm hoping Justin Hollins will take over at inside backer, but I don't know for sure. Well, Joseph, I was saying earlier, I don't know if you missed it, but actually, I think P-Train brought it up. Someone brought it up. Let me see if I can find it. It was P-Train. Yes, P-Train brought it up. The reason they're not really running in the 12 personnel 2 tight end set is due to the fact they don't really trust the younger tight ends on the roster the way they trusted, say, a Johnny Munt. So because of that, they haven't really been vying to play that 2 tight end formation. We should put Henderson more on pass protection. I agree with that, 100%. I mean, I don't know. Returners, they come and they go. I mean, you had one in Farrell Cooper, and then, that whole thing went by the wayside. And, there's another guy that just is a killer kick returner in this league. I forget his name, Roberts. Andre Roberts. Andre Roberts is so great at kick returning, and yet the dude's played on 9 different teams. I just think that, returning, finding a decent returner, teams just don't stick by them that much. So they kind of come and they go. But, you're getting some contribution out of Sony Michel and the way he played. I mean, I would continue him as a returner. I wouldn't, bump his carries, but I'd continue him as a returner. What's up, Jose? I hope we can unleash dominance against the Jaguars. Hopefully the offense can get back on track and the defense need to improve the pass rush. I got the Rams winning 41-17. So you have a little bit more of a blowout than me. I got 39-13, but, we're kind of feeling the same thing. Well, not really. You have them in the 40s, and you have them getting 3 more points or 4 more points, and I have them. Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a blowout as well. Should we get another running back? I mean, there's not really anybody to get, and I feel pretty good about Henderson. But, I mean, if you were going to get anybody, I guess Le'Veon Bell is available, Is the idea of bring Ramp down to the inside linebacker position a terrible plan? I mean, he kind of is some of that. I mean, he plays the pseudo linebacker role where, he is a safety, but he can also play, down in the box like that. So, I mean, he's kind of like Barron, not entirely like Mark Barron, but, he's kind of like him already. So, I mean, it's not obviously a terrible plan because it's somewhat already happening. Frankie, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be coming to any of the remaining games at SoFi this season unless something crazy happens. Just, financially and, what's going on with my family. I don't think I can make the trip, unfortunately. Bummer. I would love to. but I'll probably be there next year. Justin Hollins to replace Troy Reeder. Can we sign another running back, perhaps Gurley? Your thoughts? P-Train, I don't think they're going to sign another running back, but I mean, you know me, my thoughts on Gurley, I've been very open. I think Gurley, you know, obviously he's not the same back, but I don't think he would be horrible, especially with this offensive line, which has been very good this year, you know, so I just don't think, you know, it would be a horrible idea. I just don't think they'll do it. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that as well. You know, that last game was inexcusable out of Troy Reeder, and I've been a big defender of his, and I've been a big fan of his. And, you know, I think when it comes to Troy Reeder, what people don't realize is just calling him trash or scrub or whatever, you're kind of minimizing what he's been able to do. I mean, Troy Reeder's a great story. You know, this is a guy that started at Penn State. In case you didn't know, you know, he was recruited by Penn State. He went there and he ended up transferring to Delaware so he could go to the same school his father went to, and I think his brother was going to at the time. He then is signed as a UDFA, probably didn't get drafted because he left Penn State for Delaware and didn't have as much recognition. But he as a UDFA, he gets signed by the Rams. And while signed by the Rams, you know, he plays a little bit in preseason. He shows up in training camp. He does his job. He gets on the 53-man roster. You know, there were way more athletic and more popular picks to make the roster over him, and he beat them out. And then you look, and he's Johnny on the spot. Immediately he comes in, there's an injury, he plays 8 games, he starts 8 games for the Rams. Next season, it's the same thing. You know, that's all you can ask for out of a UDFA. You can't assume every UDFA is going to be great. So I just think, you know, Troy Reeder, yes, he's absolutely struggled, and he's probably not good enough to start on a defense that is this talented. However, you know, he's good depth, and he worked out. You know, for being a UDFA, to say that you started, you know, more than 16 games in an NFL season, it's pretty remarkable, and, you know, hats off to him. You know, that's the thing, is you may critique him, sure, but calling him trash or a scrub, and I'm not saying anybody is doing that in here, but I can't stress it enough, calling him a scrub is just not really fair when you really think about it. Yeah, he's athletically limited. He is not a sideline-to-sideline linebacker. And like you're saying, Joseph, he wasn't noticeably this bad last season. So, you know, clearly he kind of dropped off this year, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're getting that production out of a UDFA. There are UDFAs that never see the field. There are UDFAs that can't even get on the special teams unit, and this guy moved from special teams to defense in no time. I just think, you know, we got to applaud him for what he's been able to do with his young career and how he, you know, came out of the blue, really, and just worked his tail off. That's my thoughts on Troy Reeder. We need to use Reeder how Staley used him last year. Jake, what do you think about Steven Ruiz, the Ringer article on McVay's play calling, how repetitive it's been? It was spot on, Dr. Dingus. I mean, it's what I've been saying for a while. You know, I feel like it was spot on. McVay has been super repetitive. McVay has been super predictable. McVay needs to give up the play calling. I've said those things over and over and over again on here, and I just felt like it was very spot on, Steven Ruiz's piece on that. Yeah, it is weird. We'll see. I mean, you know, maybe McVay will change it up, but I don't know. It's like I said, it's never been about play design with Sean McVay. It's all about the play calling, when to call them, what order to call them, you know, situation, things like that. And just, he hasn't been good enough, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the team does need to stop playing soft. I agree with you there. Burgess at linebacker. I mean, we need Burgess at safety. I like Nick Scott. Another, you know, talk about UDFA and Troy Reeder. Nick Scott, 7th round pick, you know, predominantly a special teamer at Penn State. Very athletic testing. Comes in, starts off, sets the tone for the special teams, and now all of a sudden, I mean, he's basically like the third safety, basically a starter for the Rams defense. Impressive. However, I just don't understand what they're doing with Burgess. I don't get it. I've heard things. I don't want to believe them. Not anything bad about him, just that, like, he's since, getting hurt in camp, it's taken him a little bit to catch up, so to speak. But, I don't know. I think he should be playing more than he plays. I'll just say that. Whatever happened to Janeer Jones, running back? Oh, are you talking about Jameer Jones, linebacker? He's still on the team. He plays special teams. When they got Von Miller, he just lost that, like, he was more utilized as an outside linebacker before Von Miller came into the picture, which makes sense. I mean, I like Buddy Howell the way he is, special teamer. We'll say that call on him, the neutral zone lineup, that call was awful. That gave him a first down. That was just a really bad call. Very ticky-tack. Even the announcers called it that way. So I don't hold that against him really, but, the Rams miss Prime Gurley too. So does McVay. Yeah, I did. Oh, man, that broke my heart. The whole thing with Otis Anderson. I started getting a lot of traffic on that video, and I was like, I was getting updates on it, through YouTube, and I'm like, did they pick Otis Anderson back up? And then I found out why, and I was like, oh, God. Just awful, man. Just incredibly bad. I mean, that, I mean, if you guys haven't heard, Otis Anderson, who was with the Rams in camp and who initially made the practice squad, was killed by his father, gunshot. And it was something about his dog biting him or something. It was just so sad, man. It's like, I mean, just awful. What's up, Brandon? Yeah. I mean, I'm not too worried about getting yards after the contact as much as I am just a guy being able to follow his blocks and make things happen. What's up, Youngham? You're not late. Well, a lot's new. If you guys haven't been following on the channel, I started a betting show for DFS, so daily fantasy, for prize picks for my bookie, which, by the way, this channel in Downtown Rams are sponsored by MyBookie and Prize Picks. You can use promo code JKDTR on MyBookie to get up to double your first deposit, up to $1,000. And on Prize Picks, it's the same thing, but up to $100 by using DT Rams. Prize Picks is really cool, guys. I don't know if you guys have checked it out, but I'm gonna post our post lines if you guys are interested. Sign up with that promo code. Get started today. And I'm posting lines every single night. NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever. I'm posting lines every night. Let's win some money together. That's Prize Picks. In case you guys haven't, downloaded the app. It's free on the Apple Store and Google Play Store. Also, guys, be sure to like this. We got 52 people in here. Be sure to crank up the likes. We got 17 likes, so I'd like to get those up. Also, do you think the fact that keeping Staley's defense when Raheem Morris doesn't really know how to run that defense is hurting the team as well? Why not let Raheem run his own defense? Well, I think the big thing for why Sean McVay got Raheem is so Raheem would do what Sean McVay wants him to do. Sean McVay has a vision of the defense that he wants met, and that's about as simply put as I can make that. Thank you so much for donating, Brandon. Honestly, the Packers weren't that much better than us when I watched. They were just a lot of fundamental mistakes. Can we stop the 10-yard cush? I hear you. I hate the cushion. I hate it. You guys know I hate off coverage. It's no secret that I hate it. I'll defend why, like why bend don't break is utilized. I'll defend that. I'll defend the reasoning behind it and why they're doing it. But I won't defend playing 10 yards off every single game for no reason. Like, it's just stupid. It really is. I mean, be physical. You have Jalen Ramsey. By the way, shout out to Darius Williams. He had his best game of the season on last Sunday. And I mean, he had no help. That guy was on an island. They used him on an island, and he was superb last Sunday. He really was. Superstitious or not, Ray, I agree with you. I hate those all blue. No, the Packers were banged up, 100%. I think the Rams still had every opportunity to win that game, though. You know. Man, it's brutal today. Just can't even talk. Losing my voice already. I got a podcast to record with Alexis, previewing the game, and then I got Bogan's bets at 6. Hopefully I don't lose my voice before then. Yeah. Well, Williams was hurt for a minute, and then he came back and immediately looked really good against the Packers. So I feel good about Williams. Oh, nice. Enjoy, Ray. All right, guys. Anything else before we wrap this thing up? Again, I'm trying to keep this just a little, a little shorter for the people that don't like to watch giant live streams. Yeah, definitely should, right? Definitely get some tea in me. All right. Thanks, guys, so much, as always, for supporting the channel. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you enjoyed this. Be sure to share it if you enjoyed this. I will be back tonight at 6 Eastern Time to talk about the games tonight, picking each game, betting, DFS, So I'll be doing that, and then I love Rochelle long term, by the way. Last Say and Prince. I just saw that comment. So I'll be doing those later today on Bogan's Bets. So please check that out for me. And then we're going to do something a little different on Sunday. Instead of doing just the post game, I'm going to go back to doing the pregame show. So we'll do a pregame stream before the Rams Jaguars game about, say, 3 o'clock. And we'll do a post game after the games. After the game ends. So that's going to be that. Got plenty of stuff coming every single night. Keep in mind, Bogan's Bets. Can't stress it enough. You guys like betting, you like sports betting, you guys like me, and you like DFS, then you should check that out and stop on by. So, for me, I'm Jake Ellenbogen. This has been the Rams-Jaguars preview, a little bit different than how we normally do it, but hope you guys still enjoyed. Once again, check out Prize Picks and check out MyBookie. You can see the promo codes above, DT Rams on Prize Picks, MyBookie on JKDTR. If you haven't already, join our Discord. It is in the link is in the description. I will be posting lineups on Prize Picks on the Discord from here on out. So let's win money together. Go and sign up today. That's going to do it for me. So you guys take care. I'll see y'all soon. Later.